Welcome back to the Mind Shelf, where we transform your mindset and elevate your communication skills. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most powerful tools for success, the art of intelligent conversation. Whether you're in a boardroom at a dinner party or having a casual chat with friends, the words you choose can either elevate your presence or diminish your impact. In this comprehensive guide, we'll explore 10 carefully crafted phrases that will not only make you sound smarter, but actually help you think more clearly and communicate more effectively. These aren't just empty words. They're strategic communication tools that will transform how others perceive you and how you navigate any discussion. Let's begin this journey to conversational mastery. 10 phrases that make you smarter in any conversation. The psychology behind intelligent communication. Before we dive into the specific phrases, it's crucial to understand why certain words and expressions carry more weight than others. The way we communicate reflects our thought processes, emotional intelligence, and level of sophistication. When you master these 10 phrases, you're not just memorizing scripts. You're developing a mindset that values clarity, precision, and thoughtful discourse. Research in cognitive psychology shows that people form impressions within the first few seconds of meeting someone, and much of that impression is based on how they communicate. The phrases we'll explore today are designed to signal intellectual curiosity, emotional maturity, and thoughtful consideration, qualities that immediately elevate your presence in any conversation. Phrase 1. That's an interesting perspective. Help me understand your reasoning. This phrase is perhaps one of the most powerful tools in intelligent conversation because it accomplishes multiple objectives simultaneously. First, it demonstrates intellectual humility. You're acknowledging that there might be valuable insights and viewpoints different from your own. Second, it shows genuine curiosity rather than defensive resistance. Third, it encourages the other person to elaborate on their thoughts, giving you more information to work with. When you use this phrase, you're essentially pressing pause on your own reactive tendencies and creating space for deeper understanding. Instead of immediately jumping to counter-arguments or dismissive responses, you're choosing to explore the reasoning behind someone else's position. This approach often leads to more productive conversations because it reduces defensiveness and increases collaboration. The psychological impact of this phrase extends beyond the immediate conversation. When people feel heard and understood, they're more likely to extend the same courtesy to you. This creates a positive feedback loop where both parties become more open to genuine dialogue rather than competitive debate. In professional settings, this phrase can be particularly powerful. It positions you as someone who values diverse perspectives and is confident enough in your own intelligence to consider alternative viewpoints. Leaders who use this approach often find that their teams are more willing to share honest feedback and innovative ideas. The key to using this phrase effectively is genuine intention. If you're simply buying time to formulate your rebuttal, people will sense the insincerity. True intellectual curiosity requires a willingness to be influenced by what you hear. Sometimes understanding someone's reasoning might not change your opinion, but it will always deepen your understanding of the issue at hand. Phrase 2. Let me think about that for a moment. In our fast-paced world, there's an unspoken pressure to have immediate responses to every question or comment. However, intelligent people understand that thoughtful consideration often leads to better outcomes than rapid-fire reactions. This phrase gives you permission to pause and actually process information before responding. The beauty of this phrase lies in its simplicity and power. It signals to others that you take their input seriously enough to give it proper consideration. Rather than appearing indecisive or slow, you're demonstrating that you value quality of thought over speed of response. This is particularly important in complex discussions where nuanced thinking is required. When you use this phrase, you're also modeling good decision-making behavior. You're showing others that it's acceptable, even admirable, to take time to process information thoroughly. This can encourage more thoughtful dialogue overall, as people realize they don't need to have instant opinions on every topic. From a cognitive standpoint, this pause serves several important functions. It gives your brain time to access relevant information from memory, consider multiple angles of the issue and formulate a response that truly reflects your best thinking. Often, the difference between a good response and a great response is simply allowing yourself those few extra seconds of processing time. In negotiation contexts, this phrase can be particularly valuable. It prevents you from making hasty commitments or responses that you might later regret. It also signals to the other party that you're serious about the discussion and not simply going through the motions. The phrase works equally well in both formal and informal settings. In casual conversations, it can help you avoid saying something you might regret or missing an opportunity to contribute something meaningful. In professional contexts, it demonstrates the kind of careful consideration that's valued in leadership roles. Phrase 3. What evidence supports that conclusion? This phrase is a cornerstone of critical thinking and intelligent discourse. It gently shifts the conversation from opinion-based exchanges to evidence-based discussions. When used skillfully, it doesn't come across as confrontational, but rather as genuinely curious about the foundation of someone's beliefs or statements. The power of this phrase lies in its ability to elevate the entire level of conversation. Instead of trading assertions back and forth, you're encouraging a more rigorous examination of ideas. This approach tends to separate well-reasoned positions from those based on assumption, emotion, or incomplete information. In our age of information overload and widespread misinformation, the ability to ask for evidence is increasingly valuable. It demonstrates that you understand the difference between opinion and fact, and that you value substantiated claims over popular beliefs or conventional wisdom. When you ask this question, you're also giving the other person an opportunity to strengthen their argument. If they have good evidence, they'll appreciate the chance to share it. If they don't, they might realize that their position needs more support, leading to a more honest and productive discussion. The phrase works particularly well in professional settings where decisions need to be based on data rather than gut feelings or assumptions. It can help teams avoid costly mistakes by ensuring that important decisions are grounded in solid evidence rather than wishful thinking or incomplete analysis. However, timing and tone are crucial when using this phrase. If asked with genuine curiosity and respect, it opens doors to deeper understanding. If asked with skepticism or hostility, it can shut down conversation and create defensiveness. The goal is to encourage better thinking, not to embarrass or attack. It's also important to be prepared to provide evidence for your own positions when using this phrase. If you're going to raise the bar for evidence-based discussion, you need to be ready to meet that same standard yourself. Phrase 4. I hadn't considered that angle. You'll tell me more. This phrase demonstrates intellectual flexibility and openness to new ideas, qualities that are hallmarks of intelligent thinking. It shows that you're secure enough in your own knowledge to acknowledge when someone else brings up something you hadn't thought of. The psychological impact of this phrase is significant. It makes other people feel valued and heard, which encourages them to share more of their insights with you. This can lead to richer conversations and deeper learning opportunities. When people feel appreciated for their contributions, they're more likely to engage in meaningful dialogue rather than superficial small talk. From a learning perspective, this phrase is incredibly powerful because it positions you as someone who is actively seeking to expand your understanding. Instead of approaching conversations with the goal of proving how much you already know, you're approaching them with the goal of discovering what you don't know yet. This mindset shift, from defending your existing knowledge to exploring new possibilities, is what separates truly intelligent people from those who are merely well-informed. Intelligence isn't just about what you know. It's about your ability to recognize the limits of your knowledge and actively seek to expand beyond those limits. In professional contexts, this phrase can help you build stronger relationships with colleagues and clients. People enjoy working with individuals who make them feel heard and valued. By acknowledging when others bring fresh perspectives to the table, you're fostering an environment of collaboration rather than competition. The phrase also serves as a form of intellectual insurance. By encouraging others to elaborate on their ideas, you gain access to information and perspectives that might prove valuable later. You never know when someone else's insight might provide the missing piece to a puzzle you're trying to solve. When using this phrase, it's important to follow through genuinely. If you ask someone to tell you more, be prepared to listen actively and engage with what they share. Insincere curiosity is easily detected and can damage your credibility. Phrase 5. Based on my experience, I've found that this phrase allows you to share your insights while demonstrating humility and avoiding absolutist statements. Instead of presenting your views as universal truths, you're framing them as personal observations based on your specific experiences. This approach makes your contributions more credible and less likely to provoke defensive reactions. The power of this phrase lies in its balance between confidence and humility. You're confident enough to share your insights, but humble enough to acknowledge that your experience might not apply to every situation. This nuanced approach to sharing knowledge is characteristic of sophisticated thinking. When you use this phrase, you're also providing context for your statements. People understand that your insights come from actual experience rather than theoretical knowledge or second-hand information. This gives your words more weight and credibility in most contexts. The phrase serves as a natural storytelling prompt, allowing you to share specific examples or anecdotes that illustrate your points. Stories are powerful communication tools because they're memorable and relatable. When you ground your insights in real experiences, you make them more compelling and easier to understand. From a conversational flow perspective, this phrase helps you contribute meaningfully to discussions without dominating them. You're sharing valuable insights while leaving room for others to share their experiences as well. This creates a more balanced and engaging dialogue. In professional settings, this phrase can be particularly effective when you're in a position of seniority or expertise. It allows you to share your knowledge without coming across as condescending or dismissive of others' perspectives. You're positioning yourself as a mentor or advisor rather than an authority figure. The phrase also protects you from overstating your case. By acknowledging that your insights are based on your specific experiences, you're less likely to make claims that could be easily disproven or challenged. This intellectual honesty enhances your credibility over time. Phrase 6. What would have to be true for that to work? This phrase demonstrates systems thinking and analytical ability. Instead of simply accepting or rejecting an idea, you're exploring the conditions that would need to exist for it to be successful. This approach shows that you understand the complexity of most situations and the importance of context in determining outcomes. The analytical power of this question lies in its ability to break down complex proposals into their component parts. By identifying the underlying assumptions and requirements for success, you can have more productive discussions about feasibility and implementation. This prevents wasted time on ideas that might sound good in theory but lack practical foundation. When you ask this question, you're also encouraging more rigorous thinking from others. Instead of allowing them to present ideas without considering the practical implications, you're pushing for deeper analysis. This often leads to better developed proposals and more realistic planning. The phrase works particularly well in business and strategic planning contexts. Before committing resources to any initiative, it's crucial to understand what conditions need to be in place for success. This question helps teams identify potential obstacles early and develop strategies to address them. From a problem-solving perspective, this phrase helps shift conversations from abstract discussions to concrete planning. Once you identify what needs to be true for an idea to work, you can begin assessing whether those conditions currently exist or can be created. The question also reveals your understanding of cause and effect relationships and your ability to think through complex scenarios. These are hallmarks of strategic thinking and are highly valued in leadership roles. When using this phrase, it's important to maintain a collaborative tone. The goal is to strengthen ideas through analysis, not to tear them down through criticism. If asked with genuine interest in making things work, it can lead to valuable insights and improved strategies. Phrase 7. I might be wrong, but it seems to me that this phrase demonstrates intellectual humility while still allowing you to contribute your thoughts to the conversation. The prefacing acknowledgement of potential fallibility actually makes your subsequent observations more credible rather than less so. It shows that you're confident enough in your thinking to share it while remaining open to correction. The psychological effect of this phrase is profound. By acknowledging the possibility that you might be wrong, you create psychological safety for others to disagree with you or offer alternative perspectives. This openness encourages more honest and productive dialogue because people don't feel like they need to challenge or defend against your position. Paradoxically, when you express uncertainty about your own conclusions, people often find your ideas more trustworthy. This is because most people are naturally skeptical of those who claim to have all the answers. By showing appropriate humility, you demonstrate the kind of nuanced thinking that characterizes true expertise. This phrase also gives you permission to share tentative thoughts and half-formed ideas without committing to them completely. Sometimes the most valuable contributions to conversations come from sharing preliminary thinking that sparks discussion and leads to better solutions collectively. In collaborative environments, this phrase can be particularly effective for encouraging participation from quieter team members. When leaders model intellectual humility, it creates permission for others to share their own tentative thoughts without fear of being shut down or criticized. The phrase serves as a hedge against being wrong, while still allowing you to contribute meaningfully to discussions. If your observation proves incorrect, you've already acknowledged that possibility. If it proves insightful, you've demonstrated good judgment in a humble way. From a learning perspective, this phrase reflects the kind of tentative hypothesis testing that characterizes good scientific thinking. You're putting forward an idea to be tested against reality and others' experiences rather than asserting it as absolute truth. Phrase 8. Can you elaborate on that? This simple phrase is deceptively powerful because it serves multiple functions in intelligent conversation. First, it shows that you're actively listening and engaged with what the other person is saying. Second, it often leads to more detailed and useful information. Third, it gives the other person a chance to clarify or expand on points that might have been unclear or incomplete. The art of asking good follow-up questions is one of the most undervalued communication skills. Many people are so focused on what they want to say next that they miss opportunities to learn more about what's already been said. By asking for elaboration, you demonstrate genuine curiosity and often uncover insights that wouldn't have emerged otherwise. This phrase is particularly valuable when someone makes a statement that seems important but lacks sufficient detail. Rather than making assumptions about what they meant or moving on to the next topic, you're creating space for deeper exploration. This often leads to more meaningful and productive conversations. From a professional development perspective, asking for elaboration shows that you value thorough understanding over surface-level discussion. This attention to detail and desire for comprehensive information are qualities that are highly valued in most professional contexts. The phrase also serves as a natural conversation facilitator. When discussions start to feel superficial or rushed, asking someone to elaborate can slow things down and create space for more thoughtful exchange. This is particularly valuable in meetings or discussions where important decisions need to be made. When using this phrase, your tone and body language are crucial. If asked with genuine interest and engagement, it encourages rich sharing. If asked mechanically or while clearly distracted, it can feel perfunctory and may shut down rather than open up conversation. The timing of this phrase is also important. It works best when someone has just shared something that seems significant but incomplete, or when you sense there's more to their story than what they've initially shared. Phrase 9. What patterns do you notice? This phrase demonstrates higher-order thinking skills and the ability to see beyond individual events to larger trends and connections. Pattern recognition is one of the hallmarks of intelligence, and asking about patterns shows that you understand the importance of looking for underlying structures and relationships. When you ask about patterns, you're encouraging a shift from anecdotal thinking to analytical thinking. Instead of focusing on individual incidents or examples, you're pushing for broader understanding of how things connect and influence each other. This often leads to more strategic and insightful discussions. The phrase is particularly powerful in problem-solving contexts. Many problems become clearer when you can identify the patterns underlying them. By asking others to consider patterns, you're often helping them organize their thinking in ways that lead to better solutions. From a leadership perspective, the ability to recognize and articulate patterns is crucial for strategic planning and decision-making. Leaders who can see patterns that others miss are often able to anticipate challenges and opportunities before they become obvious to everyone else. This phrase also demonstrates systems thinking, the ability to understand how different elements within a system interact with each other. This is an increasingly valuable skill in our complex, interconnected world, where individual actions can have far-reaching consequences. When someone shares information about multiple related events or experiences, asking about patterns can help synthesize that information into actionable insights. It moves the conversation from data collection to analysis and understanding. The phrase works well in both professional and personal contexts. In business, it can help teams understand market trends, customer behavior, or operational inefficiencies. In personal conversations, it can help people gain insights into their own behavior patterns or relationship dynamics. Phrase 10. How do you think this connects to This final phrase demonstrates your ability to make connections between different ideas, concepts, or areas of knowledge. The ability to synthesize information from multiple sources and see relationships between seemingly unrelated topics is a hallmark of sophisticated thinking. When you ask about connections, you're encouraging integrative thinking, the ability to bring together diverse pieces of information to create new understanding. This type of thinking often leads to innovation and creative problem-solving because it combines elements in new ways. The phrase shows that you see conversations as opportunities to build comprehensive understanding, rather than just exchange isolated pieces of information. You're looking for the bigger picture and how different elements fit together within it. From a learning perspective, making connections between new information and existing knowledge is one of the most effective ways to deepen understanding and improve retention. When you ask others to make these connections explicitly, you're helping them learn more effectively. This phrase is particularly valuable in educational or mentoring contexts, where the goal is to help others develop deeper understanding. By encouraging people to see connections, you're helping them build more robust mental models of the topics being discussed. In professional settings, the ability to see connections between different aspects of business, different market trends, or different strategic initiatives is highly valued. It demonstrates the kind of big-picture thinking that's essential for senior leadership roles. The phrase also serves as a bridge between different topics or areas of discussion. When conversations start to feel fragmented or when you're covering multiple related topics, asking about connections can help create coherence and flow. When using this phrase, it's helpful to have some sense of what connections might exist. While you don't need to know the answer, having some intuition about potential relationships makes the question more meaningful and productive. And there you have it. 10 powerful phrases that will transform your conversations and elevate your presence in any discussion. Remember, these aren't just words to memorize. They're tools for developing better thinking habits and deeper connections with others. The goal isn't to sound smart for the sake of appearances, but to actually become a more thoughtful, curious, and effective communicator. As you begin incorporating these phrases into your daily conversations, start with one or two that feel most natural to you. Practice using them genuinely with real curiosity and interest in others' responses. Over time, these phrases will become part of your natural communication style, and you'll find that your conversations become richer, more meaningful, and more productive. Thank you for joining me on the Mind Shelf today. If this content has added value to your communication toolkit, please subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest insights on personal development and effective communication. I'd love to hear in the comments which of these phrases resonates most with you and how you plan to use them in your own conversations. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and remember, the quality of your conversations determines the quality of your relationships and ultimately the quality of your life.